Oh Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. It is indeed yet another day, a new day, a bright Sunday, the day that the Lord has made, that we should all be glad in it. It is yet another episode of Health Issues. One may ask, what is Health Issues? It's a program designed, and you will not be able to find it anywhere than Richmond Media, all the way coming to your doorsteps to create awareness and promote health of every individual. It doesn't matter where you are. Once you are able to reach this platform, you'll be able to hear the good news that we are presenting to you. Today is yet another episode. The title is The Effects of Dressing and My Health. This will highlight the importance of how we dress up, the things that we put on us, the effects that it has on our health, the impacts or the implications that comes along with it. And at the end of today, we'll be able to know what to apply to our body in order to live long. This afternoon, I have with me my handsome brothers. I always tell you, when you come close to me, you have to watch out because I've got the man, the man. The first one on my list is my own brother George Ackon. Brother George, you're welcome once again to Richmond Media.
Thank you.
How are you today?
By God's grace, I'm highly favored by divine selection. And I hope you're
Amen.
also doing well.
Just by the same grace that is sustaining us here as well. And
We
the
thank
second
God.
on my list is my other handsome brother, Mr. Emmanuel Quansah. Brother Quansah, you're welcome once again to Richmond Media.
Yeah, thank you so much. And good afternoon to you and everyone there.
Good afternoon. How
You're
are
looking
you
so
today?
modest. I'm
Yeah.
also good. I feel so good by God's grace. George, nice meeting
Amen.
you today.
Okay. Plus.
To our viewers and listeners, we do appreciate the fact that you are spending your time with us this afternoon. So, therefore, we welcome you once again to Richmond Media, our platform. Please don't forget to share this program because it's very important. What we apply on our body has effects or may not. At the end of the program, you'll be able to know. So, why don't you invite your friends and family far and near? Tell them the good news that is ready to be served. Therefore, they have to come along so that they will have their share in it. Gentlemen, as it says, how can for the effects or what at all has dressing got to do with our health? Thank you.
Okay. Yeah, thank you so much for this opportunity. This is a very, very important lesson you are bringing onto the board. Since creation, since time God created human beings, He has always lived with the principle of dressing people to be addressed the way they are dressed. So whenever we dress, it determines how you will be addressed. And it has a whole impact in your physical, psychological, psychosocial, even economic lifestyle. And so this topic, Richmond Media has actually chosen, is a very important one. And we want to confirm and affirm and reaffirm today that whenever you put on something, whenever you dress, it affects your health. Not just suddenly, over a long period of time, you will start experiencing the impact. And so, as a means of introduction, from creation, when God created Adam and Eve, and Adam and Eve sinned, they tried to create their own dressing, and they felt it would be good for them, but God changed it, and God gave them a dressing that was very good, top quality, that will also be favorable for their health and the environment. So all these things came together in God's divine plan of determining the clothing for a human being. And so anytime human being goes contrary to the divine plan of God in terms of fashion or clothing, it changes the entire divine plan of God, and it has a detrimental effect on human health. And as a means of introduction, we want to say and affirm today by God's words scientific study and the spirit of prophecy, we want to tell the whole world that whenever you dress, what you put on definitely affects you on every dimension, your health, physical, psychologically, socially, even economically. And so we want to tell the whole public today, as we are introducing this subject, that your dressing affects your health. It also affects how people address you as well. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Brother George. Have you got any additional
Okay,
comment?
so as my boss has said rightly, you realize that from the onset of curation, from the biblical perspective, because I'm a Christian, I love the creator and everything that comes from my creator, God. So from creation perspective, you realize that before sin, when God created this human being, he rather first clothed us. But after sin, man realized that he was naked. Then what happens? He went to make he used some leaves to make a cloth or to cover his or her nakedness. But you realize that when God entered the scene, he realized that although you have dressed, but it can affect your health, it can affect everything about you. Therefore, he provided better dress for them. So it means that you can dress, but after you have dressed, when it comes into contact with the creator, you realize that it can affect your health physically, it can affect your health spiritually, and it can affect your health emotionally, because at times you have dressed, but entering some place, you realize that you have dressed from the house, but you are going back. So the Bible says, whatever you eat or drink or whatever you do all to the glory of God. And we want to dress not based on fashion per se, but we want to dress to the glory of God. And when you read Christian temperance of the Bible and hygiene, page 12, it says that knowledge must be gained in regards to how to eat and drink and dress, as so as to preserve your health. Sickness is the result of violating nature's law. So it's very important that we want to gain knowledge on how to dress so that we can preserve our health. Thank you.
Thank you so much, brothers. I'm really happy about the way that you've taken us through up to this point. And before we continue, may we have this opportunity to acknowledge some of our viewers who have made it possible to present themselves on the platform. Sister Christiana Sapon says, good day, Sister Hannah, and your men. Thank you. See, I told you I've got the men. Thank you, sister, for always standing by us, always supporting us, always, with us. Richmond Media is very proud of you. And Brother George Queen says, good afternoon, everyone. Interestingly, the weather makes your dressings look strange to me anyway. Thank you, brother. Um, Thank you. Men, gentlemen, please, now that we have given the overview of the subjects, how can the following affect or promote our health? Before then, I think we have, anyway, what are the characteristics of dressing? Because when you are able to give us the in and out of that, then we can continue with the other question.
Okay, so you realize that whenever we are,
Question again.
The characteristics of dressing. What are the characteristics of dressing?
Okay, okay. George, I saw you were handling that. Oh,
okay, yeah. So
go
whenever we
ahead.
are talking about dressing, you realize that certain things comes in mind and certain things come in place before we can tell an individual that he has dressed. You realize that you can't just get up like I'm going somewhere and put out anything. You will think about the style you want to, then the comfort of whatever you want to wear. So you want to wear something to a place, but how should it be comfortable with you? People think about those angles. Then also, should it be loose, fit, too tight? People also think about those angles. Then the occasion that you are dressing to, because you cannot put on uniform to a church. Same way, you cannot put on anything to a different place. Based on the occasion you are attending, can give you a clue on how to dress. Then color coordination. You realize that as you are dressing, you cannot put on different colors, different shoe, different try, different things. So you want to think about what color and even the weather and the color of dress that you want to put on. Then the accessories that comes in place, like the belt you put on, the scarves you put on also comes in place. So these are some of the things that comes in mind. But take note that at the end of the lesson, you realize that all that comes in mind can either promote your health or affect your health. So these are some of the things we will dive into to know its effect. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Brother George. Um, I'm not sure if Brother Quansah has anything to add.
Yes,
Brother,
with regards to the characteristics or features of dressing, apart from the clothing people apply, and that is what Sir George has done talked about. I also want to talk about the component of the things that we apply on our skin that affects our entire system. It affects our hormonal systems, and all these things are some of the components. It will include our makeups, some of the creams we apply on our skin. They are all part of dressing. Some of the things we put on our head, some of the things, even the things we put, our shoes that we wear. All these things are components of the dressing. And what we put on your eye, some of the in the healthcare, I would often call it women are now, or people are now turning something as prosthetics, where someone may think his eyelashes are not long enough and he would want to top it up. It becomes a prosthetic device. Or when I say prosthetic device, I mean maybe sometimes people will have an amputation and they see that this one is not there. I want to create an artificial one. So human beings in the format or in the concept of dressing, they also have created some form of prosthetic device for themselves in terms of looking appearing or appearing good. Sometimes we can have artificial cornea or what do you call artificial iris. Some people would want to put some pigment in a different way to make their iris look different. All these things are some of the components of dressing. And like George said, it actually has an emotional impact that a person will feel a sense of belongingness wherever they go. And so, with all these factors in mind, people dress to put all these things in mind so that they will be fit for wherever they are going. They would also be emotionally strong, and also they want them to feel so confident about themselves. And so, component of the dressing goes beyond just the clothing. It also includes the creams, the perfumes, and all other things that we apply to our skin directly. That's right.
thank you so much, brother, for what you have given us this afternoon. If that is the case, you know what? Until I started working in the eye clinic, that's when I realized that it was contact lens that people were putting it just for their eyes to feel. You
Yes.
know, that is, I don't know. You are okay. You don't have any problem. Why do you want to put that on? To do what?
Mm-hmm.
For what? Do you want to create small problems for yourself, or do you know the implications of what you are putting on that?
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, that is a choice. So we leave it there and then we continue. If that's the case, how can the following affect or promote our health? That is what sometimes some of them that you have mentioned: perfumes, creams, lipsticks, heel, ties, clothing, and then corset. The corset, I don't know how people survive with it, especially when you are hungry and you want to eat and your tummy is as tight. I don't know because you know what? I don't feel comfortable even wearing some pretty things. So I don't know how people survive with that. And you see them going like that. Anyway, you will give more to us. So I hand over the floor to you, gentlemen. Thank you.
Also, okay, so by starting with the cream, We want to take them one after the other with the cream, then we move on to the perfumes and co. You know, you bath. After bathing, you just apply cream on your skin so that your skin might not be dry to lead to crackles and co. But it's quite unfortunate that most people are suffering from some sickness that they have tried all means in treating them, but the most cause is the cream they are applying, but ignorantly most are not aware. So the cream that we are applying on our body have effects on our health. When you read a book called the Health Reformer in October 1, 1871, he says that many are ignorantly injuring their health and endangering their lives by using cosmetics. When they become heater, the poison in these items are absorbed into the skin, through the pores. You know, the skin has pores, and from the pores is where our sweat do comes from. So anything that you apply on your body, when there is a heat within your system, it will absorb through your skin, then back into your blood. So when the ingredients are poisonous, when it gets into your blood, what happens? We learned about the liver issues. The blood will now take it. The liver will now help to eradicate the toxins from it because you have given it a load. So the liver will come and work harder on it, and because it's toxic to the system, you might be fighting or facing series of liver related problem. It will go ahead and affect the quality of your blood. At the same time, the kidney also needs to help eradicate toxins out from the system. And whenever you are applying, continuously applying these things on the surface as a cream with this chemicalized and toxic ingredients, it's going to affect your health. And when your blood becomes impure, you know that you don't have a good system. But when you have a good blood, you have a good system, and you will be able to fight against any invading system. So our creams, most of us, our cream that we are using can affect our system. Therefore, a clue is that any cream that you are applying that you cannot eat, don't take it.
Yes.
Any cream, anything you are applying on your body as a cream that you cannot eat, when you are outside and you come to meet your child eating your cream and you treat it as poison, it means don't use it. So that's one clue. When it gets into the system, it affects. And the creams can give you one allergic reaction. So we have some people who are having some allergic skin reactions and skin condition where, because of the continually use of the toxic creams, and you know that this Bimah, you know, some dark women, because of the common cream they are applying over a long period of time, because the toxic gradually deduce into the blood, now they are like the white.
Now, people, there are some of them are taking some tablet and other things.
Sure,
There are so
but
many things that people are
but
taking.
their
Just
their
leave it.
Yes.
elbow, their elbows are exposing them.
No, but some of them, that one doesn't expose them. If they do it properly, you might not be able
Yes.
to
So,
identify
so
it.
you realize that that individual, after the application, has go against definitely as the person grows, you realize that, oh no, this was not your rare color. So we want to advise our people out there that one aspect of our dressing is cream that we apply, but any cream that you are applying that you cannot eat is dangerous to your health, and it can lead to a lot of blood issues. It can lead to a lot of liver issues. And some people, because of the cream they are using, after they are about to stop it, they are having low blood sugar, low blood sugar. And whenever, because of that reaction, they mostly experience low blood sugar, that they always be rushed to the facility. So we need to be very careful with the cream. So this is what I want to say about cream and our health.
You know,
Thank you,
thank you very
brother.
much, George. with the creams, I'm very passionate when I start talking about these issues, especially with celebrities who always want to dress to impress to meet social media demands, and they are doing so many things to hurt their bodies. And so some of these creams contain certain toxic chemical. One of them is a triclosan. Triclosans are noted to be a very potent carcinogen, one of the toxins or chemicals that are put a person at risk of developing cancers, triclosans. And anytime the public wants to purchase something, a cream from the market, look at it and see if it doesn't contain any form of triclosans. There are so many creams or substances in these creams that we are so oblivious of that we don't take into consideration. One typical toxic chemical in some of the creams that they use for bleaching and changing their skin color, or now they call it toning. We have these hydroquinones, and these hydroquinones, when they go into contact with your skin, blacks. We have high concentration of melanin in our skin, and so because we have this high melanin in our skin, they help us protect the skin from these ultraviolet rays. Also helps us in the absorption of vitamin D and all those stuff. When you take in these creams that have been impregnated with high concentrations of hydroquinone, it depletes the skin of these melanin. It also destroys the collagen fibers that the body manufactures. And so you see people who bleach or changes their skin tone start having a very soft and flabby skin. They lose the tensile strength of their skin, and they start developing all these stretch marks and all those things that changes the integrity of their skin. And so these creams contain really toxic substances that we need to be very careful about. And we want to sound this warning. It doesn't start all of a sudden. It's a gradual thing that you keep on doing it. And because it gives you that immediate pleasure, you become so happy. It makes you feel rewarded in your mind. You release some level of dopamine when you look at the mirror and you see the cream is making you attractive. You always want to do more, and you become addicted and you cannot stop. And I think we'll be talking about the makeups, all right? So we'll get there and then we talk more about that one too. Yeah, George.
Thank you, gentlemen. You may continue, Brother George. Yeah.
Okay, so the second thing that we want to talk about is that, after applying your cream, then it comes to perfumes that we apply also on our body or in our dress. Now, you know that there are some perfumes that you are using, but we have some individuals who are suffering from a lot of lung-related conditions, but they have treated all over, but always they are getting the trigger. We want to assure you that some of the lung-related conditions like the asthma, like the cold, like the congestions and other aspects emanates from or is being triggered from these kinds of perfumes. So it says that the continually use of these artificial scented perfumes will disrupt your respiratory organs or will affect your respiratory organs. And anything that you are inhaling, it goes into the lungs. So you have some individuals who always are suffering from cold. That's for the rich people, and those who are poor, catarrh. That's the other name for those who are not rich. So you realize that some individuals always they are suffering from running nose. Always they are suffering from running nose, and they are doing all kinds of inhalation and co, but it's not going. But most people, whenever you get closer to them, you realize that they are using highly scented perfumes, and it's one of the triggers of this condition. Another aspect is individuals who have asthma. And asthma is a condition that emanates from the lungs. When your air sac, that the sieve within your lungs is being blocked in some way, then it affects the way you breathe. Now, when that individual is inhaling these kinds of perfumes, it triggers their attack. That explains why most individuals who are suffering from asthma and other lung-related conditions, whenever they get into contact with the population with different and varieties of perfumes in there, you realize that most start to begin experiencing this heart attack, and we need to be mindful of it. And some of the ingredient within some of these perfumes is able to draw quickly, and the brain, we have what we call the brain barrier. They are able to go and pass through this brain barrier and affect the brain, the way the brain occurs. And some individuals might also experience some form of seizure attacks because of this condition, because of this perfume. So we want to assure and also encourage our individuals out there that yes, we will dress and we know how to combine our things, our essential oils for our perfumes and co. But some of us are suffering from some lung related conditions because of what we are pouring or spraying on our body. So we need to be mindful of the perfumes that we are using, and we need to be taking critical look at those things, because you see some children and some breastfeeding children, they begin having this running nose and nasal congestion and catarrh because of some of the perfume the mothers are using, or those who have been taking care, the caretakers have been applying. And when they are handling their children, these babies are inhaling those things, and it end up affecting the better way of their breathing. So we need to create awareness that when we are talking about perfumes and your health, is one crucial way, because it can trigger any lung related issues like the asthma, or can prolong the way you are suffering from your cold and the runny nose as well as passing through your brain barrier. It can also affect the proper functioning of your brain. So we need to be mindful about what we apply on our body. Then an individual also use deodorant. Then they call it like 48 hours antiperspirant, meaning that you will not sweat. Let's sound this. God creating the skin, put something within the skin like pores, so that these pores are like tiny holes for sweat to pass through, and the sweat contain waste out from the system. So anytime you are applying something in your armpit, or you are applying something to prevent the sweat from coming out, now to our viewers and our listeners, what will be the implication? It means those fields need to remain, and at the end you mostly see people always raising their arms. Why? Because of the boils that is coming in their armpit. So one of these causes of the boils are due to some of the deodorant also they are applying, which is affecting the way sweat needs to come out, and at the end also create a medium of infection. Then you get what we call boil also in the armpit. So this, when we want to talk about the perfumes and the deodorant, this is what I will want to say in regards to our health.
Thank you, brother. What about the other ones? You can continue
Okay.
to take us. Sorry. Brother Quansah is available. Maybe he wants to say something.
In
Yeah.
addition to that, I want to highlight some of these just as an eye opener for our beloved listeners and viewers out there. Anytime they want to purchase a perfume or any fragrance on the market, they have to look out for certain ingredients that are placed inside this fragrance. Some of them are very toxic, and we have to be very
Sure.
careful. One of them includes acetone. These substances are now classified as toxic, but now perfume industries and companies are putting them in there because we don't look at them. Acetones, benzene aldehydes. Anytime you hear anything adding the name aldehyde, be careful. It's toxic. Benzene aldehyde, ethanol, linalool, parabens, very, very important, toxins, and then phthalates. All these and many more. Please, let's be open-minded and look and read more. Anytime you buy perfumes, look at the labels and the items that are used in preparation of these substances. I am reading and certain articles that are saying even some perfume contains what we call oxytocin. Oxytocins are certain hormones that actually makes a person, like a mother is breastfeeding a child. When the mother is breastfeeding the child, when the breast milk is being sucked by the child, oxytocin is released, and it creates some form of bonding and strong tightness with the partner. So sometimes people are purchasing some perfumes that contain some amount of oxytocin that triggers people's emotional affection or bonding for others. And there are so many ways people are using these chemicals to achieve certain dubious aims that we have to be very careful. So the public must be well educated on the constituents of the perfumes that they put on themselves, and it affects their health. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, brother. Brother George, you may continue from there.
Okay, so we are moving on to the next one, which is the lipsticks. Because most people, as they are dressing, they want to dress to match whatever they are wearing. So if they are wearing pink shirts, pink mouth, then pink socks, pink whatever. But the most important thing is that, yes, the idea is that at times, due to the weather condition, at times due to certain things, they don't want to get dry lips, because when they get dry lips, it can lead to crackles and they will be having some sore. So they want to just make their lips moisturized. But Brother Quansah just mentioned parabens. You know, parabens constitute is a harmful ingredient. But you know, the dirtiest part of this human system is the mouth. And most of the things we apply on the lips, we do swallow. Some of the conditions that individual get as a result of the particular lipsticks they are using is that they get some allergies and some rashes around their lips. So individuals, some people, any wrongful combination, full combination, pink, right, pink, white, green, and you realize that their mouth looks rainbow. You don't know they use the primary colors with the secondary colors and all over. So you realize that at the end, they begins to be getting some rashes and allergies around their lips. Just watch out and note whatever you are applying on your mouth as a lipstick. Number two, we have parabens. It's one of the commonly found ingredients in some of the lipstick, and they easily penetrate into the skin. When these things, you know, you'll be swallowing them. They are known to cause several side effects, including depression and some form of diarrhea. And we need to be mindful of it. The lipstick that we are using, just alone, the lipstick alone. Another aspect is that some of the lipstick that we are using goes ahead to affect the endocrine system because of the petrochemicals in some of the ingredients we are using. And you know, some also contain some gels, and those gels will make the mouth, when they, that's what they, when they close and open their mouth, it's like they've put a glue, that sticky thing. When they do their mouth and you are interviewing them, you are not careful, you put your hand, it will stick. Yes, that gel like thing is able to also absorb filth or dirt. So as the individual is going out from the house to either a church or the market or the washroom, anywhere he passes, it will be trapping a lot of germs. And at the end, when they sit down, you realize they are doing they have a way of just turning their lips in a circular motion. At the end, then they swallow and talk to you very nicely, and you realize it's just opening with that sticky sound. As you are swallowing, you are just introducing these germs into the system. And at the end, because the germs, the intestines or the stomach is not their place, it will begin to be creating a lot of conditions. So we have some individuals who have started experiencing stomach pains or abdominal issues. They've tried everything. They've done a lot of scans, a lot of x-rays and so ever, but they are not able to identify the exact cause. Therefore, we want to advise you that most of them, when you trace the history, they are also some lipsticks friendly. They are like twins to the lipsticks. And the more you ingest, gradually you are ingesting these chemicals into your system. And over time, you end up having abdominal related issues. We need to be mindful of it. And another thing is that lipsticks contains many metals like the cadmium, like the aluminium, which both are toxic. They are very toxic into this system. And when it comes into contact with our gastric juice, that is the stomach juice, it also creates a reaction within your abdomen. So we want to encourage our dear listeners and our dear viewers, that, and our dear women, that we need to be mindful of whatever we apply on our lips. if that one too is not edible, you need to be very careful and refrain from it gradually. Refrain from it, please, so that gradually, as you are taking, it will not lead to a long-term effect. So that's what I will say. So you realize during this the dry season now, most people are now rushing to share butter and those things to apply. But when it's not dry season, wet season, they are using different things, different colors, different things to just decorate their mouth. Some people, it's not anything, but they want to match their dressing. But as you are matching your dressing, please think about your health as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Brother George. You know what? You made mention of something that I want to clarify here. That is nowadays, it's not only the ladies, it's not only the women that apply lipstick. So when you are talking about that, it has to be generic. Men are also doing it. It might not be the actual color, but it might be maybe lip balm or something glossy. It's, oh, you know what? Nowadays, everything is possible. So it's not only us. I have some comments here to say. And it's Doris Odo Rabbi says, Asamu. And she continued to say, poor network. Yeah. And Brother George Osubequin says, name is trying to talk about something with my sister's lips. So, Brother Quansah, you may continue. Thank you.
Okay, I would also go to the biochemical aspect of it, as usual. And studies have also shown that certain lipsticks contain some dyes. These dyes are those artificially or synthetically designed colors that we or the pigments that we add to those substances that will give your lip the color you prefer to suit your dressing that you want to do. And these dyes contain certain substances like aluminium or petroleum product. I want to literally call it the coal tar. And see, most
Sure.
of those who put on dyes, I have to say, listeners and viewers, you are putting some form of coal tar on your lips.
Yeah, that one
Honestly,
there is true.
it has been a very modified way, in a very subtle manner, but they also cause a lot of risks that are involved. There is another naturally important antioxidants that are placed in it. But this time, they do not make it natural because the natural ones do not last. We call it tocopherol acetate. Tocopherol acetate is actually a natural antioxidant, that is vitamin E. But they have synthetically added certain substances to them, and they make the skin very irritative, and then it causes a lot of allergic reactions and causes a lot of injuries. You know, the lips has no form of strong protection, and so when you apply these substances that are kind of they call it semi-toxic. You see how they have subtly called the name. So tocopherol acetate is it's semi-toxic, but it is still bearing the name toxic, and they call it semi-toxic. It's because of marketing strategy. And so we anytime we are just enlightening our listeners and our viewers that we always have to be very careful of the content. And like George rightly said, whenever you are applying a substance on your lips and you cannot eat it, watch out and be very careful, because it will go a long way to alter your body's whole biochemistry, and gradually it changes things, which is not helpful. Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
So as we have dressed, put on everything, we will come to wearing of the footwears. I want to
Mm-hmm.
go with the footwears. You know, God creating this human system, he knows why he didn't raise our heels, but he made it to be flat. He knows the reason, and he knows why he made certain animals to also the way their legs looks like. But at times we want to overdo things. So most people, especially most of our dear women, and most of the foot we are wearing, raising the heels affects our health. It affects our health. There is a load. It's quite unfortunate also that most of the short people who have the weight up there, they mostly also like the high heels. They like it more. But notwithstanding, it applies to everyone who is wearing. But just that note that God knows why he positioned our foot to be just in that flat position. Now, most people are suffering from knee pains, knee pains, and they have treated with a lot of pain medications. but they have not taken notice that the knee pains that they are suffering from, one reason or one of their cause is the footwear. Because when you are wearing a high heels, it puts pressure on your knees and contributes to the joints and the knee problems. So you might treat it with a lot of pain medications, but at the end, when you come home, you are in it. At times, are you visiting the health facility, you are in that high heel, and you go for the medication, coming home, you are in that same high. So you are working with the cause. Until you move out the course, you take a lot of pain medications, and that's one of the things. Most individuals are also suffering from lower back pains. Lower back pains because high heel do not support the feet. Your feet should lay down so that it supports your back, your bust, and everything. But since it's being raised, the support is being balanced, and that will cause uneven weight. Then gradually you begin to be suffering from lower back pain. So individuals out there who are suffering from lower back pains, and realize and come into conclusion that whatever you are wearing contributes to that aspect, is also a key thing that we need to note. And we have increase in the spinal curve. Increase in the spinal curve. You know, it's like taking a soft rubber, then putting water in it, then you want to tie it. But when you want to tie it, you want to put pressure on top while the thing is in your hand. You see, it will change the position. So most individuals who are addicted to these high heels may raise the spinal curve, and directly, it will just direct it into another proportion. Then it will lead to increase in the spinal curve. And when you have increase in spinal curve, you realize that you begin to be having a lot of coordination, a lot of nerve related problems. So you need to be also mindful of it. And the feet too, you have blood vessels. And as you are putting the feet in that high heels, there will be constriction. And when there is constrictions, there will be poor supply of blood. And when that occurs, you begin to have numbness because of poor blood circulation. And also that constriction of blood can also affect blood flow, because blood needs to move from lower parts into the heart, same like the upper part. So if you are wearing the thing that is constricting or putting a lot of pressure within your feet and it veins, it constricts the way blood should circulate, and it will affect you. So just the foot alone, lower back pain, problem with your spine, knee pains, joint pain, and the pelvic area, you have increased pain. So these are some of the effects that those individuals who are wearing the high heels and are there people who are wearing very tight foot also might be experiencing. Okay,
Thank
okay,
you,
brother.
Brother
Okay,
George. Brother Quansah wants to come in here.
Okay. I wanted to stand to show an anatomical presentation. When we stand, we have to be straight like this. And when you are on a heel, the heel shifts your posture forward like that.
Do you want to go
And
back a bit, because we cannot see you properly? If you want to go
you
back a
can see
bit,
me, eh? I want to
yes,
go
like that,
backward a
we'll be
little.
able to see you. Yeah.
that's clear.
Eh?
Like
Okay,
I think that's the best I can do for now.
Okay.
So when
yeah,
you stand, you are supposed to stand straight and erect like this. That is how God designed, right? But
sure,
unfortunately, when you are on a high heel, the higher you go, the higher your posture changes. So it shifts you
sure.
forward like that. And it
Mm-hmm.
alters the way you move. And it changes your gait. That is one risk for fall. That is the first
Yeah,
lesson I will add up to George. You have a very
yeah,
great risk for falling. And
sure,
so those people who walk are always careful where they put their steps, because you have
sure,
already altered your base of support. God made your heels very thick so that it will hold the weight of your entire trunk and the other body on the ground. But now you have shifted all of them onto the toes. And when you do that, it puts you a lot of, like my brother was saying, nerve pains, neuropathic pains, and then bunions, those kind of swellings and all, because of the increased pressure and then
sure,
engorgement of secrets and fluids there. It poses a lot of problems. And then you see that people who wear most of their heels or the shoes, you see the tip so close like that. It doesn't open for all your toes to fit in. So you see that your toes are crumbled in there. and it leads to malformation of all those bones. And so when they remove their legs, you see the toes are quite crumbled around, and that causes a lot of problems for them. And so, with this in mind, if you keep on doing this, even your calf muscles become too tight and shortened. So they become so addicted. And when they stop wearing the high heels, they cannot stop because the calf muscles have been subjected to that increased tension, and it's now used to that. If you want to go down, it says, no, I'm used to this one, then it gives you pain. And so we want to educate ourselves in as much as it is nice. We always have to not to sacrifice women. God has actually created women in a way that we are already enduring pain. You know it, Mama. And I
Yeah.
you are enduring pain in menstruation and childbirth, and we are still adding more pain through our dressing on high heels. And it makes women so amazing. You are pain bearers.
You know what? One thing that I want to emphasize on that, when you say women, 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 nowadays these are just we have a crazy world that it's not only women wearing high heels. So
Hmm.
please, it's not only women, no. Thank
And
So
you.
men are also wearing high heels.
You don't see what is going on in this world, yeah? I
yeah,
think
so
Oh yes,
individuals who
yes,
are
yes, yes,
wearing it.
yes, yes. I understand you.
Okay. Hmm.
Mm.
Okay, so we move on to the clothings. We move on to the clothing. You know that whatever you wear contributes to your health. Therefore, one aspect is that most individuals who are wearing always dirty clothing, it affects your health. Therefore, we advise, especially the mechanics. Those are my lovely friends. They are my lovely friends. That one attire for engine oil and petrol and changeover and co. I encourage that. Yes, the debt will give you strength, but if you have like 3 working gear, is fine. So that at least you can be alternating it to get the good atmosphere. Because when there's debt within the things that you are wearing, your skin also is having some pores. Pores means tiny holes, and those debts will just be absorbed into your blood and affect internally. That's why most people applying or wearing these things can get conditions out of it. And another aspect is that we wear something tight, not too tight, because some part of our body you need to put something to support, like like the socks. You wear socks, you wear underwears. And the men at times, when you are going for strenuous thing, you need to wear a boxer which is not too loose, especially when you are going to play ball, because of the nature of your testes and co. So you need to do something. But we want to talk about too tight clothing. Too tight clothing can affect your health. Why? Because when you wear too tight clothing, number one, it will affect blood circulation. So individuals who wear too tight clothing, you realize that whenever you remove them, there are some marks around your hands or around wherever you apply it, indicating that minute you were in the dress, blood circulation was challenging. And when you continually wear those things, it can affect circulation. Number two, too tight clothing can lead to numbness. Numbness either in the feet or the arms or the fingers. Numbness because of too tight. So that explains why at a particular time there was a history like someone tied a particular hand of or arm of an individual, and over some time the area that were tight died and it leads to amputation. It tells us that whenever we are applying too tight clothing, it affects circulation, and those cells there can die off and you can lose that part. Another aspect to it is that it can lead to skin irritation. So you realize that there are some people, when they remove their braziers or their shirts, you realize some marks begins. So if for our dear women, if you are observant, if you are your size to be 18 and you are wearing a brazier of 12 underage or undersize, you realize when you remove it, there are some marks and that there are some reddish or redness discoloration within the skin area. It tells you that the dressing alone, the too tight dressing affects you. Now, whatever we are wearing, our advice are, dear men, you know, we added accessories like belts. Whenever you are not going anywhere and you are in the house, make sure you wear something loose to loosen your waist area, because that's where your power is. But you are in the house, very tight belt or tight clothing, you are going out, you will stay in the office from morning to evening, always in belt. In the house too, some people forget going to bed, they are in their belt, and it will affect the waist area and the organs there. By so doing, it affects your reproductive organ as well. So we need to be mindful. And also, when it comes to the dressing, let's consider weather and dressing. Weather and dressing. Colder weather, the coldness, the weather, you don't expose extremities. So you see some individuals during the cold season, then they want to show that they are men, or they want to show that they don't fear any weather conditions. So they are exposing extremities. At the end, you realize that they will be shivering and they will be having that numbness. Even you give them something, they are not even to hold. It tells you clearly that the coldness your blood becomes, the poorer its circulation. And when there is free flow of blood, you get good health. But when there is restriction of blood at a particular area, you get pains. That explains why when an individuals who are involved or engaged in exposing themselves at the weather condition, coldness, exposing themselves, especially if the person is also having blood related condition like sickle cell and bone issues, you realize they begins to be having their crisis. So let's note about the weather and what to also put on to suit us. Not too tight, but we need to be mindful. Then the lastly thing is about the corset. The corset. You see, some individuals, they are not mindful about combinations they are eating or the combinations they are doing. They postpone when they feel the urge to defecate, and they have developed a pot belly. So most people, because of their pot belly, and they want to go for an occasion, they also want to seal the occasion, and they also want people to see them that they have dressed. At the end, they will take the lawyer, and that lawyer is corset. And when they put on the corset, they will come to your program, and if the presenter is delaying, they will be shouting, frowning their face. Nothing, no, the pains in there. If you are not careful and you want to serve them water, oh, I'm fine. They are not fine. The person is sweating. It tells that he needs water, but he's fine. Why? Because lawyer. So individuals, now it's becoming like fashion. Individuals who are addicted to corset, these are some of the problems you are likely to experience. You know, you have the abdominal cavity. And when you take the abdominal cavity, we have your stomach in there, you have your liver, you have your kidneys, you have your intestines, you have your spleen, and you have most internal organs there. The moment you apply this corset, it puts pressure on them, and there is pressure on the internal organs. At the end, the compression on the abdominal organs will affect digestion. So if the person was going and he took banku, if you are not careful, digestion will not take place. So you go and come back in digestion. Now when you serve them, they, oh, I want to take it away. No, it's not that. The banku is already in the system. They don't want to add up to cause any problem. But the most important thing is that it put pressure on your abdominal organs and it can prone you to a lot of conditions. Number two, it can cause organ deformity, because when there is pressure in it, the liver being at the right side, if you are putting pressure in the stomach is shifting to a direction, the liver want to also maintain, I want to maintain my position, there will be shifting of organs, and it will affect the formation or the situation of your or internal organs. We need to be mindful. It weakens your back and chest muscles. It will weaken your back and chest muscles. So you need to be mindful of it. And also, you know, the area you have applied, there's ribs there. And the ribs are the ribs, you know, the ribs too is protecting you in your breathing and others. So it will also compress on the ribs and affect your breathing and can lead to shortness of breath. So most individuals, you see the way they breathe faster is like they need oxygen, not oxygen. Please assess them well. Let them go to the washroom, remove the corset, they are free. That's the medicine, not anything. When they are sitting by you for a long program, they are breathing alone. You might think they have lung-related condition, but it's the corset they have put on, and it reduces your lung capacity. So the capacity of your lung to be able to inhale and exhale is being affected. So individuals are suffering from some sicknesses, not because of anything, but the way we dress, as in corset, the things we are wearing, the foots we are wearing, the things we are applying on our lips, then the creams, the perfumes are contributing a lot of diseases. So we want to create the awareness so that we start to be mindful of it. Thank you.
Thank you so much, my handsome brothers, for your contribution to our life today. Brother George also Bekun says, good demonstration, bro. God bless you. I think that is in relation to what Brother Quansah demonstrated to us. And Sister Doris Udro, Rabbi says, please, about the corset. I learned we have medicated one dose who have given birth can use. Is it right to use it when you have given birth? I think this one I will answer it. I think you don't need to be told you have. If your doctor or your gynecologist think that if it has been prescribed for a purpose, that's when you use it. But you don't listen to someone to say that, oh, my brother's wife had it, doctor told the person to use it. So now that you have given birth, you can use it. Meanwhile, you had a cesarean section, and if you want to go and use that, that's a wait until it is prescribed to you. By that time, the doctor has assessed your situation, the risk that it involves, before the doctor will give you the approval or authorizes for you to use. Thank you. Or Brother George, what do you think?
Okay, so anytime someone will encourage you on a particular thing, will come with the observation. So some people are having rib issues, or they have fracture accident, and they have some issues that they need to manage on such aspect based on the assessment. But this one, the individual is adding up to his dressing, to suit his dressing, not for medicinal purpose. This one is using for fashion purpose. So that one will not advise you to use it.
Thank you so much, brother. Thanks, and Brother Quansah and Brother George. We say thank you. May the good Lord continue to bless you as you continue to give your time and support to Richmond Media and our viewers, as well as those listening to us. To everyone who made it possible to send a comment this afternoon, we say, may the good Lord richly bless you as you continue to support this program all the time, because without you, it is impossible to bring the program along if no one is watching us. To our viewers and listeners who couldn't send the message for a purpose, don't worry. We do appreciate you so much, and we do value you as well as those that are sending the comment. So continue to watch us each and every Sunday, the same time, health issues at 3 o'clock UK Ghana time. And you can convert the time into wherever you are. The clock will tell you that it is time. Don't forget to share and subscribe. Press on the notification link so that when the time is due, you don't need to go and see if indeed it is time. You'll be notified to join us every Sunday. I'm not going, but until then, we are going to another program called From the Beginning Life Experience. Please, I will encourage you to join us on the other platform as we share life experience with one of our brothers. This afternoon has been a great time knowing what to wear can also have an impact on our health. So therefore, this tells us what to wear, at what time, when to wear it, and how we can apply some things. Then My name is Hanna Bimah. The same time next week and every Sunday, health issues. I nearly said from the beginning. So until then, it is bye-bye for now. Thank you for watching.
Yeah,